Hello, this is Rose of Sharon, and I'm back with another book review. Hopefully I don't butcher this authoress's name, but this is a book called Woman of Light, written by Fajardo Anstine. So I had never read anything by Miss Anstine before, and I have to say this is absolutely phenomenally written, and it just shows a rather harsh depiction of what a lot of immigrants go through, and given the political background and current events, it's actually very apropos and reflective of what happened back in this time in the 1800s. Even though it's historical fiction, I'm sure a lot of this was just spot on, and how a lot of the immigrants, the white immigrants I should say, treated Hispanics and Indians for that matter. And not all immigrants are that way, I should say, but it kind of paints them in a bad light. And I should say a lot of colonists, now, I'm not saying all the colonists were bad or had malintent, but this makes them look like the villain. And I understand, I get the point. And yes, there is some edifice key, sorry, I can't even say the word, to that particular idea. But I really don't have a whole lot to say about Woman of Light. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was extremely well written. It was it didn't pull any punches. It was very, very, very nitty gritty, down and dirty, and absolutely unapologetically reflective of a lot of what the characters actually went through. And there's a character in there called the Sleeping Prophet, or actually they call her the Sleepy Prophet, and that reminded me a lot of Edgar Cayce. And that was the reason why I picked it up, because I thought, oh, maybe it's about Edgar Cayce. And no, it's not about Edgar Cayce. But Luz is called the Sleepy Prophet, and you figure out why that is. And as the reader, you're supposed to figure out what occurs at the end, because they leave it open to interpretation or to your own imagination. And I thought it was just exquisitely written. Miss Anstine is quite the wordsmith, and this was her debut novel, I do believe, and she won an award for it. I forget what the award was, but I do believe that it was a rather prestigious award, and I think she deserves all the accolades for that, and just the way she writes. And she really draws you in, and she makes you feel what the characters feel, and you can sense their frustration and their sorrow and their angst and their their ire, as they basically try to buck the system and take what is theirs and actually try to succeed in a world that actually won't allow them to, due to poverty. And it's hard. This is a very poignant novel, and there are parts of it that were actually very difficult for me to read, because I'm going to tell a little bit about myself. I've never been down to the dirt poor, but at one point I nearly did become a ward of the state, so I do understand what that's like, what it means to struggle, what it means to wonder if you're going to be out in the street. I've been there, and it's not a pleasant place to be. So their struggle in particular is a lot worse than what mine was, and you really want the characters to do well. You want them to succeed, and when you see them just coming up against obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, it's is so heartbreaking. But there is happiness. There is happiness. There's joy. There is even a sense of hope and promise in what tomorrow will bring for them. So I got a lot of inspiration from that, because I went through a time not long ago that was a little bit challenging for me, but I've overcome that. I still have some challenges that I am doing my best to overcome. They're not insurmountable. I think that I have a lot of control over these, and someday I will see all those challenges through. Right now I'm taking my time and floating as quietly and nonchalantly as I can without causing too many ripples, because I don't want to be one of those people who gets in trouble for something I say or something I do. I want to be that the quiet, unassuming type that no one suspects, and can stand up for myself without causing any kind of trouble. And luckily I've been that person so far. Luce is just she's an exemplary character, and she just exemplifies a lot of excellent human qualities. And yes, she has her flaws, but we see her as the person that she's meant to be and who she becomes, and just her development and following her on that journey, I think, is what's really quite wondrous about this book. And just the poetry of her language. Anstine's words are just absolutely resplendent. But beyond that, I can't give it higher than what I'm giving it. I give it the highest grade I can possibly give it. I highly recommend it. If you have a chance to read it, it's a very good perspective, and given the political climate, it hits hard. This hits really hard, and it makes you think what these people go through, and just certain things that shouldn't be. And it's such a hot button issue right now. But you know, all I can do is pray for those who come legally, I should say. Sorry, please don't hate me. Those who don't, I just really have no sympathy for those people, because I'm sorry, but you know, my ancestors came here to work, and they became citizens through diligence and putting their nose to the grindstone, and you can't take that from me. Beyond that, I can't really say that much else, to be honest, but that's all I gotta say about Woman of Light. So until next time, live long and prosper. Just